Hey guys, welcome back to Code for Cooking. Today we're going to be going over how to cook bacon. So I have bacon here, pans, stove. Started.
My name is Jeff Antonacco. I was a paramedic for over 26 years. I did my bit for king and country, but it took its toll, physically, emotionally, and mentally. One thing that could always bring me peace and calm, and that's cooking. Ask my partners. We ate well. Now I want to share that place with you. For my first responder and military family, I want to share my knowledge and experience of cooking, start to finish, with me, and hope you can find your peace and calm while cooking. And to anyone else just starting or in need of a person to cook with, from gathering and prepping our ingredients to cooking, and finally plating and tasting, let's help you find that peace and calm as well in cooking. So come on, cook with me.
Alright, so I'm going to get some gloves on here. We've already washed our hands and prepped our area. We wanted to get our things collected. So for today, we're going to need obviously some bacon, cutting board, sheet tray, plate to put the bacon on. I've got some napkins I'm going to use. Have a paper towel, otherwise I'll be using that. Tongs, very important. Always got to cook. And a pair of scissors and a knife. All right. We've preheated our oven, 425 degrees, and we've got a pan that we're going to be doing some cooking on the stove with bacon. But the first thing I want to do is I want to show you how to do this on a sheet tray. So we've got our parchment paper. Just measure it out. There. And this is just going to help with cleanup. If you don't have parchment paper and you want to use foil, that's just good. Okay? So we got our bacon here. I'm going to take a knife. We're just going to open this package up. Set this off to the side. Now remember, use that knife. We're going to use it again in here in a minute, but we use it on raw bacon. So you can make sure if there's anyone else in the kitchen with you, you may not use that knife until it's clean. If you've got a smaller space, put it in the sink right away, and everybody knows it's dirty. All right. So this is a thick cut bacon I got from Costco. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a nice little chunk of it like this, set it right on the edge there. That's going to be our starting point as we start to go row by row by row by row. Now when you look at the bacon, look at that, you've got much fattier end, and then it's very meaty with a smaller amount of fat on this end. So what you want to do to keep track of what you're doing is just alternate each direction. So you peel off the top, and you just reverse it. So in this case, the fatty end is up top, like meteor end is the bottom. So I'm just going to go back and forth. Here, top, and here's the bottom. Now, as you're touching and putting these things in here, we're just going to alternate these. Take your time. The bacon could touch, but they may not overlap. Okay? So if they're touching, they're still going to cook evenly. If they're overlapping, it's creating a higher thickness, in which case you're not going to be able to have that even cook. We're just going to keep going, alternating back and forth like this. Now, depending on what bacon you use, you may find yourself having a little extra room at the top or the bottom. Don't worry about that. If you have a significant amount of room, you could always put your bacon this way rather than this way at the top and just do it like a fillet. Just take your time, make sure that they're lined up and touching and everything they're supposed to be doing here. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, so this bacon, I got 10 slices of it. Alright, now we're going to take our sheet tray in our ovens at 425 degrees. We're going to take this and we're going to slide it in the oven, and we're going to let this cook for the next 15 minutes. Alright, so nice and easy. Into the oven. All right, 15-minute time. And you're going to say, Jeff, now what? Well, here's what. First off, go ahead and take one of these plates off here and grab something out of my refrigerator, which I forgot to grab when I got something. My fault. Okay, so we're going to do some cooking on the stove. This is bacon fat. I actually saved it for my cooking. And when we look at our bacon, and we're going to want to put it in the pan to cook. So we're going to talk about stovetop cooking now with the bacon. When you do the sheet tray bacon, it's great for groups. It's great for, the whole family's going to be sitting down at breakfast. So you can go ahead and put 2 of those trays together if need be, put them in the oven, cook them up for 15 minutes. At the end of the 15 minutes, you're going to take them out, and they're not going to be quite done yet. You're going to need to turn them over. But we're going to look at them first. Sometimes, because the heat of the oven all varies a little bit from oven to oven, we may find that we need to put them back in the oven for a minute or 2 before we turn them, and then go from there. Because of the way the ovens cook, generally, it cooks from the outside in. So your 2 strips of bacon on the outside are going to be the most cooked right off the bat. So those are going to be your crispy couple pieces when you look at putting them out to be served, and then your softer, less crispy will go in the middle. But now let's take a look at our pan here. We've got a nice pan here. We've got our bacon. I have not turned the pan on yet, but as you can see, one strip goes right down the middle. And that means that you're not going to be getting full strips all the way across. You end up cooking this one at a time. So there is a solution for that. And one of the things I like to do is to look at this and say, which end am I going to trim a little bit off of? And so for this, there's that nice fatty end and the less fatty end. This has got almost like a pigtail to it on this side. So what I'm going to do is take my knife, and I'm going to take about 2 inches off of that, off of the end of that bacon. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in. And you can see that strip fits much better. We're going to go ahead and add 2 more. And no, the pan is not on yet. We'll talk about that here in just a sec. And kind of like going on the sheet tray, you go alternate them. All right, now we're going to turn it on. Now, take the smaller pieces and fit them in the pan. That way we've got no real wasted space. Other part that's very nice, we're going to have that extra fat. It's going to help start rendering. All right. Stick the grill out. Okay, so we've got our plate here that we're going to just bacon that have a little grease strip off of. We have our tongs that we're going to need to turn our bacon once this gets ready. Now, here's the debate whether or not you cook bacon in a hot pan or a cold pan. I kind of look at it like, well, if you cook in a cold pan, what you're doing is you're going to start that rendering process of the fat a little early on. So depending on the temperature you're cooking at, if it's cast iron or if it's stainless steel, is it going to stick to the bottom? It's not. But if you go into a hot pan, the chances are it's going to stick quickly. And inevitably, we're going to cook a few more pieces on top. So the first stuff goes in a cold, the rest of it's going to go in a hot. The only difference is you'll have rendered fat in the second round, which I keep collect up my bacon grease. It's for situations like this. I personally like giving my bacon a fair chance. So what I'll do is take one of these small spoons and add a dollop of bacon grease there. And there. So what that's going to do, as the bacon grease starts heating up and sliding across, I'm creating that fat layer right off the bat so that the meaty parts of the bacon don't get cooked onto, so they stick. This will help alleviate that. And at this point, you've only been cooking the bacon for a minute or so, but you can already see that it's starting to render. You can see how much liquid is coming off. This is even starting to curl up a little bit. We'll give it a turn. And these other little pieces. And now is an interesting spot where you try to figure out if your bacon's going to grill. Okay, so not all bacon is just straight, right? So as it heats up, you may find it starts to get certain bends, certain bubbles in certain areas, and that's actually how you're going to help fit some more in the pan if you can. So anything that's got a curve, obviously you can shape that or use that shape and push it to the outside of your pan to follow the curve of your pan. And then you can put 2, 3, 4 pieces in there following that curve. Now, the other thing that can happen, when bacon is smoked, how much smoke gets applied is different. But the smoke ring actually goes all the way around it like a band, right? That's your smoke flavor, what you want. But what will happen when it's heated is that it tightens. And when it does that, it starts to curl a bit. Typically it ends. And you'll watch that curl come up. And now you've got a piece that's lifted, you've got to manipulate it to get it back down. Or, as I'll show you if it happens, you just take a pair of kitchen shears and you can flip it. Not the whole slice of bacon, just the edges. Just a little 1/8 of an inch, is all you need, or less. You just clip in the band and you'll watch the bacon start to fall flat again. And that way it's actually touching the pan and cooking. We're at home. If we're on, the reason you get bacon that's a whole lot perfect at restaurants is because they're cooking on a steel top, flat top. So you're not restricted in your space. You've got the whole strip of bacon. You've got a larger surface area for everything to stretch out on. And it's a lot easier to cook bacon. Which is the other thing you'll notice when you do a cheap pan. Because you don't have that direct source coming up from the bottom, it's global. The bacon stays straight, more or less. It doesn't curl up like it does coming out of it. And that's simply because it's taking longer to render the fat, longer to cook in the oven, where we're doing a faster cook, higher heat on the stove top. Does that make sense? So, obviously we want to keep an eye out on our bacon. We don't want it to be splattering. We want our heat source to be that 3/4 of the way around so it's cooking evenly towards the center of the pan as well as out. You see here it's starting to bubble a little bit. So let's turn those. And there you can see how it really curled up. Especially right here, look at that. I mean, this isn't even touching the stove. So that's where we're gonna get our kitchen shears. We're gonna just clip it. And you see how that laid flat? So you have one little clip on the corner, and that's all you needed. The starting fat that we started with out of the jar has helped getting the rest of the fat rendered. So we're cooking on a layer of fat, not directly on the steel. And again, most everything you do has that naturally, so that you have that micro barrier, but you're still having to heat it. And it doesn't take a whole lot of excess to start with to get enough to roll across and make a difference in the overall. Our timer's got 4 minutes left on the oven, so we're going to continue to cook on the surface, waiting for the buzzer to go off to tell us if we can look at our bacon out of the oven. I've got the heavy duty grill gloves. They're good to several hundred degrees, 500 degrees, 400 degrees, or more. I've got both of these if I need them to. One I'm going to definitely use to get it out. Now, when I tell you this, there are some people that will say you can just roll that tray out of the oven and crouch down and look at it and make your turns and everything else and put it back in. You can. But one of the things that I noticed right off the bat in doing that is that you open the oven up, pull the tray mostly out, and now you're sitting there letting all of the residual heat of the oven burn. So rather than having to play catch up again with the oven, take the tray up, make a spot on the surface so that it's clear, clean, not a hot spot, not having a flame underneath it. So take the tray off, get it underneath the lighting, look at it. It only takes a second to say you have to go back in right now, or yes, turn it now, go back and forth. But this way you're keeping the heat trapped inside that stove, inside the oven. And when you put your pan back, it picks up cooking right where it left off. You doesn't have to wait for the having to heat up again. So. All right. Now you can see here the bacon does lose some size. As it cooks, it does shrink up a little bit. And because this is a fattier end, it may take more than one clip or right in the middle to help it lie flat. See that? All right, now is all right, so those are going to be finishing up here in just a second. And then we'll be refilling it with what's left of our bacon here, finish off, and go from there. We'll have a tray come out, we'll look at it, We'll do what we need to do, come back. If you are cooking bacon, and let's say you're doing it, say, well, Jeff, there's only two of us. We don't need this much bacon. Well, you might want to think about what you're having later. So if this is breakfast time, you're gonna go ahead and make some eggs, toast, whatever else you're gonna have with your breakfast. That's great. And say you've got 6 slices left. It's great for a BLT in the afternoon. It's great to go ahead and throw on any sandwich. It's got to hold on to the next morning. Make it part of your breakfast burrito. Lots of different options. And bacon never goes bad because if anything, you're going to walk by and eat it because it's bacon.
Kitty Tony. And of course, the dogs love hanging out in case you accidentally, quote unquote, drop some bacon.
Okay, so this bacon is done. I'm going to grab my oven mitt.
Shut my timer off.
See you, Johnny. Now remember, you're going to get a blast of heat coming out, so be prepared.
All right, now we're going to look at that. You see on the edges, it's getting cooked quite a bit more, but I think we can go for where this is at in doneness. I think we can do 1 or 2 more minutes on this side. All right, set timer, 2 minutes. Now we can get our bacon out of our pan. Just take a second and let that extra fat drip off. All right. Give those guys another second.
Now, got 3 strips left.
Now I'm going to set this in here now. When you set it in, remember you want to lay it away from yourself so you don't splash. There. Now once it's in and set, just take all 3 pieces and kind of shuffle them back and forth. And what that's going to do, because of the weight, it's not going to let them stick to the bottom. Little scraps there. Oh. Just a little scrap left. So now I'm going to turn the whole thing, and you can see that one bottom piece is now curled. You knew it was going to be there, and you can go ahead and roll it out. All right. Get our oven bacon out. All right, there's that. And now what we're going to do, we got to turn it because the bottom part you're going to see right away is not done. You can see how much pink is left on this side compared to this side. And they're either going to turn as a couple because they're stuck to each other, or individually. Ouch. All right. All right, they're all turned, they're not touching. Get them back in the oven. All right. 5 minutes. All right, now you can see there's a whole lot of extra fat now at the bottom of that pan. You have 1 or 2 choices. Throw this away first.
39. So now you have a couple choices. You can finish your batter, finish cooking your bacon out as it is. You're now, because of the amount of liquid there, you're almost coating your bacon fat, which, but it takes a little bit longer for that liquid to be done. That's what good. So you're going to leave them sit a little bit longer on the turn. Because they're letting it sit a little bit longer, you also want to watch the temperature on this to make sure that you're not too high. Okay. If you start to see at the base of this pan, as it starts to come up, you're going to see that there's going to be a little bit of a smoke starting to come up from the heat of the bacon. If you start to see that smoke, only a few inches off the pan, maybe 6, that's okay. But if you're starting to see a solid stream go all the way up, it's too hot. And now you've got to back it back down. And that's just take it off the element or lower the temperature, obviously, on the stove top. One way or another, you want to get it off of that heat source and allow it to cool down on its own. It's baking fat. It's hot. That means that we're going to be in the 300 degree range, 400 degree range. It will take time for that fat to cool down. The other option, as you look at turning the temperature down, get a spoon and a jar or a cup or wherever you're going to put your bacon grease in, and spoon out some of that excess fat. So if we were still going to continue to cook, I would want to get some of that out. That's that looks awesome. Now, put you in the kitchen back. When you start being relied upon to be in the kitchen, more and more, one thing you'll discover, I think the tendency of being the person that eats last. Now we're going to cook some eggs, we're going to cook whatever else we got going on. We can have toast going. That's the other thing too. You've seen how much time this is taking. Obviously we're going to be a little over 20 minutes just to cook the sheet tray of the bacon. I'm cool and collected. We're having a little nibble on some bacon. We would have had plenty of time to make some toast. We would have had plenty of time to prep another pan for scrambled eggs. We could use our bacon pan for tasted eggs. We wouldn't have time. So again, trust. Thanks for coming. The stuff works out on its own. We've got 36 seconds left. I'm going to move this bacon hot for a second. Spread the butter out. Get ready to receive it. Again, remember, we don't need any undue stress in what we're dealing with. There we go. All right. Take a look. Oh, yeah. All right, and there it is. Remember, like I told you, the end pieces are going to be your crispy ones. Now, if you wanted to have less of a crisp, especially on the tips. Like the tips of all this are pretty well going to be a little crispy bite for anybody. Press them on. A little more on top. Oh, layering them out. The interesting thing when we talk about crispy, non-crispy, how long, how short, if we didn't want these crispy, we wanted them soft more all the way around. This is where we talk about time and heat. If we wanted this to have less crisp on the tips, we're going to lower the temperature down to like 350. And we're going to almost double our cooking time. What that's going to do is it's going to slowly render that bacon, cook it, so that you're getting a more gentle cook on the bacon. It's not going to have the burnt tips, as it were, which I don't think are burnt. I think they're just good. Last pieces off here. All right, now, that's bacon 101. Going to turn our pan off. Going to turn our oven off. And then we can blot a little bit of the grease off of what we're looking at. Stack them all up together. So we're ready to go out to the table. Okay, so there you go. We got our 10 pieces of bacon that came out of the stove. We got 2, 4, 6 pieces that came out of the pan. So it's a whole package of bacon. And if you're ready to go ahead and serve it up. I would encourage you to, if you're doing things like this, the more you add to your plate, as it were. If you're by yourself, again, take your time. You could actually set the oven on warm and leave it on warm for the next 30 minutes while we get everything else ready. Or, if you have somebody else to help out, throw in the toast. When that's done, have them butter it. That's their responsibility. That and it's fun to cook with people. Obviously, that's why I'm doing this. I want you to come and cook with me. I want you to learn something new. Feel good about it. I mean, speak. Never enough bacon. All right, guys. That's going for it with bacon. If you like what you saw here, like and subscribe. That's how much you get the videos out to you, the tutorials. Enjoy your bacon. You've earned it. If you're ready to go ahead and add something else to it if you'd like. But I'll look forward to seeing you back here in Code 4 Cooking. Remember, at the end of the day, never out of the fight, never alone. If you ever start feeling like you're alone, come on back here, Code 4 Cooking. You and I are going to cook together and make ourselves a little treat. Okay? All right, take care of yourself, stay safe, and see you next time right here in Code 4 Cooking. Take care.